Hello and welcome. My name is Nneka Abulokwe. I'm here to share success stories of women from all around the globe to inspire and to encourage millions of women to write their own success story. I'm very happy to introduce to you today Dr. Priscilla Schelp. Priscilla masters the art of networking. She's an expert in world-class connection and community building. Let's find out more. A very warm welcome to you, Priscilla.
Thanks, Anita. I'm very excited to be here.
How are you today?
Yeah, I'm very well, and yeah, thanks a lot for having me.
Thank you for joining. I know you have a very busy schedule. Now let's start at the very beginning. Where does your passion for networking come from? Has this talent always been in your blood?
Good question. I probably was the opposite of a talent in networking when I was small. So yeah, I'm a good example for that. You basically can learn it like any other skill. I was super introvert and shy and always like artsy, doing my own stuff, living in my own world. And obviously at some point when you go to school, it's less cool to be like that. But really my passion, or let's say the importance of networking I really realized when I traveled a lot in the world and relocated due to my work. And like if you move every year and you even have projects in between, you always have to leave people behind. And what I felt is like either you literally start from scratch and have this kind of friends for 3 months or 6 months, or you really make an effort and stay in contact. And so what I try to do every time I moved or every time I traveled, when I met amazing people, I tried to keep them in my life, even though I moved continents. And so one thing is meeting people, the other part is like keeping them. And I think that's what I learned there, because like for me, I mean, it's everything in life is about how important it is to me, to you. And for me, it's like my friends or great people are like my family of choice. And if you see that, and if you really feel like that, then obviously you put in a totally different effort than if you know, it's nice and I see you, and then if I don't see you anymore, then I don't care. Like, yeah.
Yeah, I like the phrase family of choice, exactly. And invest time in your surrounding, otherwise time will take your surrounding. It's so
wise
important.
Words.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you have built up a world-class network for yourself. How do you define world-class network?
Well, I think it's, I mean, I have my own definition, but I think it's also something personal, right? So for me, it has 3 components. One is that it's global. The second is that it's across disciplines. And the third one is that these are high-ranking people. So for me, for example, I have contacts all over the world in politics, diplomacy, NGOs, startup scene, like big businesses, arts. So this is one thing, and that you know people that are like, you know, in the boards of these organizations, that are influencers. Yeah.
Yeah, I could. Well, you've just mentioned you've met really, really interesting personalities. Would you tell about one encounter which was really interesting or even challenging?
I had one really funny moment. I kind of knew before, but it was kind of showing me what I already felt. I was in, so the first management club I kind of was admitted to, or at least I had visiting rights due to an award. I was 19. It's like one of the most important business clubs in the country. And there were like all these owners of family businesses, and minimum age was put down to 45. And there was me with 19 as a woman. And well, I went to this event, and at the beginning, people would like literally barely speak to me, like maybe 1-2 curious ones. It was also Northern Germany. So I mean, generally they are a bit more, they need time. And there was one event, and the speaker was, I think, the CEO of TUI. Yeah. And we were talking, and he was really funny, and we just had a good time. And there were like these, you know, this half eggs with like something on top.
Yeah.
And we had the same preference. And then like he took the last one, and I was looking at him like, oh, and then he gave it to me. And I realized in that moment that one struggle I had at the beginning to connect with people in this club is that I felt like I'm not good enough. I don't have anything to offer. But honestly, these are all people. Like, I mean, even if you meet like board members of the most important companies in the world, they just want to be themselves and they just want to have a good time. So if you can give that to them, that they enjoy themselves, it's like you're already giving them a lot. And you can do that. It doesn't matter how junior or how senior you are, or like how your CV looks like. And I think that was like one of the key learnings that kind of was a game changer. Like if you know that in your mind, then you go out there and know that you can offer something. And I would love everyone to know that, because that's something everyone can do. So it's like you don't have to work your CV or do something before you can go out and meet great people. Yeah.
Great advice. Thank you for that. So are there personalities that you would still like to meet in your life?
Yes. Yes, I think what I would find interesting to meet more people from Silicon Valley, because I like the way of thinking, like really open. Generally, they assume things can work, opposite to what we know here in Germany, that it's assumed things don't work, like, you know. And but obviously there are also single individuals that I find interesting. So I read a lot of books. And for example, I read the book of Richard Branson, I find really interesting. Yeah, like the classics, right? Bill Gates and so on. But I think I would like to learn more from entrepreneurs that kind of made it, you know, that kind of build up not just one successful business, but multiple ones, and really have a like honest exchange about their stories. Because you always, you know, I'm an entrepreneur, and you need to talk to people that kind of figured it out. Like everyone has advice, but you really need to make sure that it's not some advice, but from someone that really, you know, figured his own way. And yeah,
are already a couple of steps ahead of you.
Yeah. And most of them are too busy to talk to you. Like that's a challenge with entrepreneurs, right? So
yes, this is why I appreciate very much that you took the time for our interview today.
It's my pleasure. I think it's a real responsibility if you figured out how to do it. It's not to keep it a secret, so no one else can do it, but I think we should share.
You've already mentioned a couple of points. Would you highlight it again? What does it take to be a good networker, and can anyone learn it?
Yeah, everyone can learn it. And what it takes is you need to really want it, and you need to want it for the right reasons. So if you network just for your own benefits, that will not work. Like I had a speaking coach, and she always said, thoughts set muscles free. What means people can somehow intuitively feel if you have an agenda, how you feel about them, and all these things. So you really need to be pure in your brain, and you need to go out there, meet people because you're interested in getting to know them. You are interested in figuring out what moves them, what is their vision for life, and really trying to think about how can I support them. And then they feel you are genuine, and that's how you form connections. If you go out there, that's the main reason for disappointment at networking events. Everyone goes there with expectations, what they want to get out, and then everyone goes home alone, lowly, right? And I think that's the main thing. And obviously, you need to go out and take the chances. So every time you're invited somewhere, where there might be people that you don't know. Yeah, get up from your sofa and go there. And a lot of people are like, they like their comfort zone, their sofa, they're like 3 friends. But so it's a numbers game also. You need to go out and look for people where you feel it's right. So that's the first thing. And if you find these people, you need to put in an effort to get to know them better. And then if you kind of form a friendship, to keep them in your life. And for that, I mean, if you see it like work and you have to put in blocks in your calendar, so like in a CRM tool, and you're managing your contacts, it's like it's most likely not going to work, because it needs to come from the heart.
Yeah, and it's a long-term thing, long-term investment in yourself. And yeah.
I mean, there's one thing you mentioned, and you're right. Networking is not a trade. So you can't expect to meet a person and you give the person something. I always think about, like, I always say you should give before you like take. So go out there and think about how you can help people. And then if you help someone, you can't have the expectation that you get a direct return. Otherwise, that's not networking, that's like trading. And what often happens that you give to people, and then something is coming back from other people. So it's important from the mindset, not, to expect,
Yeah, true. Yeah, good points. You have mentioned that you are an entrepreneur yourself. So talking about your future, what are you currently working on? I think I don't need to ask what kind of project or ideas you're working on. It's your company. Would you tell us a little about that? What is it about? And what dream or vision do you have?
Sure. I have a startup, Network X, and I had the idea 1.5 years ago. And I love to connect people. It's like the adult version of memory. I always listen to what people can give, what people need, and I'm constantly matchmaking. And I really had for years now kind of this feeling that I wanted to create a scalable business out of it, but not to use people, but to help people. And that kind of happened. And what my business is now, it's a lead generation for a platform for exclusive clubs like polo, yacht, golf, business, private member clubs. And what I do is that I'm looking for people that, have a good heart, that want to really create change in the world, that want to be good for other people, like that good heart, passion, drive also to implement that. And I want to give them the network they need to bring their visions to life. And what I do is, like with exclusive clubs, these are amazing networks with powerful people that have, great connections, are super resourceful, and you can learn a lot from. And but usually with these clubs, you can't just call them up, but you need references. You need to know people that are in the clubs. And often, like in these clubs, are people that are like maybe older, often male, from certain social backgrounds. And if you're not in their sphere, you will have a hard time to get in. So basically, I'm helping them to get into the clubs that are suitable for them. And with clubs, a lot of them struggle with overaging. They want to get more diverse, or they want to expand. And they are basically, we help. So with sourcing and admitting the right people to the clubs. And with regards to the vision, I have some wishes for the future. So I'm still, even now after COVID and the Ukraine war, I still believe we have a bright future. But we can't sit around in front of a desk or on our sofa and wait for it, but we need to create it. And so one wish I have is, I think in most cases, there is no real competition. In most cases, we can collaborate and create a win-win. So I'm really working on and trying to spread the message, like literally every day, that if you support each other, if we support each other, we all win. The world feels much nicer. You have this feeling of humans are kind, people are good. The future can be bright if we support each other. And this thing about like we are in competition, I think in most situations it's in our head, and that's one thing. And the other thing is, I think loneliness is one of the biggest diseases that we have today.
Yeah.
And so my personal thing is that I if I'm someday dead and so on, then I want that the people that I met, I touched their life positively, and they felt that they were, that I loved them, that I accepted them, that I appreciated. They felt seen, they felt heard, and that's something I think I would like everyone kind of to see it in a similar way. Like we all have so many people that we meet every day, and we have an impact on every single one in the way we look at them, in the way we treat them, talk to them. And that can be super damaging if you have, for example, had toxic bosses or toxic family members or colleagues. And you can also be really good and be there and be kind, and that's something that I try to spread.
Happiness, make the world a better place. Yeah, that sounds beautiful. And it's really up to you, right? You choose. You're the creator of your destiny. Of course, there are external factors, and sometimes quite bad ones, but there is always something we can do. And I mean, like we here in Europe or in many countries, we have so many opportunities. We can really do so much. And it starts with small steps in everyday life.
Yeah, I mean, you're doing that, like you could have decided, I'm, chilling at home doing nothing, but you interview people, you interview women to inspire other women. So you are doing your part in a way that, you're passionate about and you're good at. And I really respect that, and I really appreciate that, and that's great. It's like you are contributing.
Thank you, Priscilla. So let's get back to you again. What is your personal secret to success?
My personal secret to success.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, if I learned one thing as an entrepreneur, it's self-confidence and self-love. But it's literally so, and I think I've come already quite far, and kind of I documented my learnings and exercise and so on in my book. It's called Become Your Super Self, and it was released last year, and very proudly it was 2 months on the Amazon bestseller list. So,
congrats, that's amazing.
Yeah, thanks. Like for the first book I was quite surprised and happy. No, to be honest, like in every area of your life, it doesn't matter if it's like your romantic relationship, your friendships, your if you're an employee and we are talking about the career or an entrepreneur, it's like everything is about self-confidence. And I tell you why. It's like if you are not so self-confident and you need external validation, you are very dependent, like your happiness, your like everything is very dependent on something outside. So I really experienced it a lot as an entrepreneur last year. So if you go out there and tell people about your idea, or investors, you are always anxious how they react. Do they accept you or reject you, or accept your idea or reject you? And then it's basically, you are always worried how people react. And then if they react, either they react good and you're relieved, or they react bad and you're questioning yourself and your whole day is ruined. And especially as an entrepreneur, and that's one of the biggest learnings, you have so much volatility in your emotions then that you are not able to handle it. So basically in ideal, so I'm not entirely there, but close. In ideal, you know yourself in every situation in your life that you're good, that you can cope with everything, and that you believe in yourself and your idea, and you don't need this extra. So it's like a bonus if someone tells you, I like what you do, you're cool. It's a bonus, but it's not really touching you in a way that it can affect you. It's one thing, because otherwise you fall into, like, if things don't go smoothly, you fall into like this holes. And also, if people are very nice and sweet to you, you are very prone to be manipulated. That's the other, it's another thing. So and that's very important, because otherwise, if you have crisis, it really crushes you. And in every, like, and also people then feel if you're insecure. So basically it's like you just lose. If you can't give to yourself what you need, and you need it from other people, you're like a junkie. And then you're always looking, you're making bad decisions, you're looking for the next shot, and you're like, so that's my, like, and that's something I would have liked to learn earlier. I just learned it last year. With all right.
Life is you keep going and growing, right? And you learn and change and adapt and
yeah.
Empowerment starts with self-empowerment. I really like that saying.
Definitely. And yeah, so that's the most important thing, I believe, for everything.
Thank you. That's very valuable advice. I guess this is also something that you would tell to your younger self if you had the chance to meet her. Is there anything else? Because that would be my next question.
I mean, that's one thing, and I think it's always somehow related to that. But if I could have, I would have. So, you know, I still meet a lot of people, especially women, that say, oh, I'm too scared to become an entrepreneur, and I need to get more experience and all this thing. And it's not true. I mean, obviously, if you have more professional experience, you learn things. But it's not that. I think I would not have had a big disadvantage if I would have started my business earlier. And that's one thing. And the second thing is that the perceived risk that you have, obviously, as an entrepreneur, you can fail. Many startups fail. However, I mean, that's true. But the feeling that most of the people in the population have, that being employed means safety, that's so not true. Because look at it, like, if you don't perform, if your company is not doing well, if you're getting old, they just get rid of you. I mean, even in the board, with the board seats. So I had this vision a long time that I wanted to, you know, become a partner or get into the board of a company. And then I met many important people that are in boards of companies, and they said, you know, the first point where I had financial freedom was when they kicked me out of the board, and I got like kind of a big payment. And nowadays, it's not realistic anymore. If people want to get you out of the board, they will dig dirt up on you, and then you got kicked out. So you are not getting any big payments anymore. So this feeling of, you know, I'm getting financial freedom through being employed, or there are positions out there where, you know, I made it. No. So either you say, okay, for me, family is important. For me, is saving the world is important. I want to, you know, travel. I want to, or for me, I chose entrepreneurship. I want to make a change and build something up. But, you know, this whole employment thing and safety and so on, that's an illusion. That's in our time. It's not true anymore. And that's what I would like people to know. So if you think you cannot do things because they are not safe, what you are doing right now is not safe either. Like, yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you for your thoughts on that. Yeah, that's good brain food. So you have a world-class network. Out of that, which inspiring woman would you love to see in female success stories one day?
Out of my network? I already sent you kind of a little list.
Yes, I know. That's great.
Yeah, there are many. I think one person that will be interesting for you. So I met a woman in Singapore, and she's an alumni from my university. And I somehow have a good sense for people in the way that I meet them before they get famous. And with her, it was the same. So in the way it's interesting, she's it's Nneka, it's my mentor, and she's the best educated Afro-Caribbean woman in the world. And obviously she had not that easy time to make her way up, but she really managed to build up her own brand and her own kind of, you know, business in the way that she does consulting. She does keynote speaking, and she got an order from the Queen when she was living. Yeah, I mean, it's not that long time ago, to be honest. And she made it in the Financial Times ranking. And I think it will be really inspiring to see how someone where, you know, it's even, I mean, as a woman that is Caucasian, it's hard enough. And with her, like how it's interesting how she made it. And I learn a lot from her. And you have basically different stages you kind of go through, and with her I think you can see that quite well, what you have to do at what stage, and then how you feel that you're on the next stage. And I think that's why it would be quite good.
Yeah, she sounds really inspiring. Thank you for that, Priscilla. Thank you so much for sharing your wisdom and your experience with it. Sounds really amazing. Is there anything else you'd like to send out now?
Yeah, I mean, I'm happy to share the PDF of my book with you. So if you want, you can share it with your audience.
Yeah, that sounds great.
And otherwise, I mean, obviously, your audience is more than happy to be a test user of my platform. Or if I can help anyhow, you know, they can just reach out to me and connect on LinkedIn. It's the easiest. So yeah.
Yes, I can definitely recommend you. You're a great networker, and I remember our first call. You asked a little bit about me, and you started giving me advice, connecting with me with ideas and people and insights, and I was really flushed because I'm the one who gives advice to others, and that's so rare that I get that. It was really helpful and so wholehearted. Yeah.
I think it's great what you're doing, and that's something I would like, you know, the audience to do as well with others. One advice for women in networking. So men, even if they don't like each other, they support each other. It's just like, if they cannot do it, it's okay, but otherwise they just help each other. And that's one thing I wish for women as well, like not just women helping women, but generally it's like, you're not helping someone because you're having a good day, and it's like, you know, it's like, oh, you know, I'm having a good day, I'm feeling well, okay, I'm helping you. But it should be a must that we support each other. And it should be okay also to ask others for help. Can you, I don't know, give me a LinkedIn recommendation? Can you introduce me to someone? Can you? And I think we need to normalize that. And yeah, that's what I wish. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you so much. That's yeah, important aspect. Yeah, and if more and more people, more and more women start doing this, it's gonna be a lot, millions in the whole world sooner or later. Let's be role models. Thank you, Priscilla, for your time. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, thank you a lot, Anita. It was my pleasure. And yeah, I wish you a lot of joy and a lot of impact with your interview series. And thank you for having me.
Thank you. The same to you with your startup. Fingers crossed. I look forward to seeing how it grows.
Me too.
Yeah, so to you out there, thank you so much. If you have watched, I hope so, until the end, because Priscilla has given so much great tips and advice. So many great insights. I hope you have started growing your own world-class network. If not, now's the time. Take care and see you next time. Bye.